out there.
Okay.
It's green anyway, not purple.
I know.
Huh?
Came off when I was trying to get the extras.
Oh. Here's hoping. I think the stream might work now, possibly. Let's see. It's good. Looks good. Looks good. All right, welcome back to the stream. I'm hoping everything's working good now. Looks like everything's at least up to date. 1 minute and 57 seconds left to go in heat 7 of 10. Looks like we had some bad issues with some of the plugins that were taking place on this software. Of course, I wish it would just automatically do all this stuff itself instead of making me have to do every bit of it. But anywho, we're back up. We're back live. I'm recording this now. It'll be going on YouTube when it's said and done. These last couple of heats here. This is the orange portion of the truck series here at Lanes Raceway GRC. Looks like Randy Kirtley's having to give a little bit of a nudge there to the Nathaniel Burton's truck there on white, as it could possibly have some issues there with the motor. Sometimes you got to jump start them. Looks like tonight, just what I've been seeing, a lot of issues currently with blipping, especially on the top 3 lanes, as if guys have forgotten about blipping. A lot of guys coming off for sure. Gabriel Kirtley there with his neon colored blue and orange shoes there. He's got the track call button in his hand. He's the one controlling the track calls there. Looks like we're already back into another yellow flag. A couple guys driving in hard and deep there on the blipping side of the track. We have 2 guys come in simultaneously there on the high banks. Looks like Jay Latham and possibly Greg Kimball going hard and fast there into the high banks corner of the track. Quite a bit of frustration taking place a little bit earlier. As we were having some issues with the stream. I'm glad all that worked out. Evidently, my brother had seen earlier whenever he had it fired up that there was some updates for it, and I didn't notice it, so I went back, and sure enough, that's what it was. There were some updates for the plugins, and I guess the communication error between those two were causing a lot of issues, and now it seems like everything's running right. We're not getting any huge spikes up to 100% on the CPU. I did find it kind of weird that, you know, this thing's been working great for the past 4 weeks or so and not having any issues, drop frames or nothing. And then just all of a sudden, this thing just decided that it wanted to come a high-speed come apart, and it just didn't make any sense, because the only thing we use this computer for is literally streaming to you guys and also putting time on the track for guys and gals that come in here to race here at Lanes Raceway. But I wish you guys would have got to see the race that I was seeing while we were watching this thing update and go through several different restarts. But it's been a really good race, really. These guys have really got their trucks worked on. They've been doing quite well. And I've just been really surprised with them. Just in a comparison from last week, these guys' trucks seem to be handling a whole lot better here on the orange track. Now, of course, we did have somewhat of a cold spell that took place, and I believe that maybe affected it a little bit. As the guys come in here, they were complaining today about the oval being just sloppy, like it felt sloppy to them. Now, of course, we had a big crowd here last night, kids coming in, and they were racing the rental cars, and a couple newcomers come in getting excited about GRC and stuff like that. And whenever they came in, of course, they were burning the track down. So I just sprayed the track this week, but all that glue could have just easily been soaked up. So what I did is I sprayed the track down with medium glue, of course, in naphtha, a full bottle, and squirted the corners there by Dead Man's Corner and the crook of the track where the guys were having the most issue. And then I took a blow dryer out there, a hair blow dryer, and I got an extension cord, and I blow dried it dry, and everybody said it's working great. So we're pleased with that. And when I was watching them, I think it's going to be an exciting race up to come for the circle track there. Glenn Burden there right now, currently in the lead with 176 laps. I couldn't tell you right now how many heats he's passed. We'll go through that here in 23 seconds as we go to the track mate. Just kind of a quick synopsis of what's been going on during the race. But like I said, I've got to catch a little bit of it. These guys running the race, and like I said, they've for the most part kept their cars under control, but been having a little bit of issues blipping their cars there about where Guillermo is on black. Some of them just not blipping enough or hard enough, and causing their cars to come out. And then just sheer competition of these guys wanting to run side by side going through that high banks. I wish you could better see. Well, I guess you can kind of better see. You can see there how just much of a bank that is down there where Robert Bishop is. It's about a 45-degree angle there. So, when those guys are rolling through there, they're rolling through with some pretty hard G-forces. So Glenn Burden there with 183 after that heat. He still has one more heat to go there on White Lane. So he's going to hold off for at least another lane there. Randy Kirtley still has two. He's in second place. So Glenn will have to somehow or another gain about 20 or so laps on Randy this next coming heat to keep that first place off. But it's looking like Glenn's going to be the first of the guys to be done. And he has one more heat to do it in. So right now, currently, Glenn Burden's out in the lead with that Monster Energy with Octane from Apex Legends on the front hood. And we got Randy Kirtley there in a close second. Nathaniel Burden there in third place with 166 laps. He also has one heat left to go. Him and his dad are both going to be on the top two lanes. Clay Dame there in fourth place. I hate to even call him a newcomer at this point, as he's been doing quite well in the past few races that he's been in. Guillermo just right behind him, having yet again some issues here on the orange track. Take a quick look here at the parking camera here tonight. It's bumper to bumper traffic out there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that beautiful blue car we have out here in front of Lanes Raceway, making us look like a real speedster place here for all those people that are inclined to come in and get their racing fix. But for sure, that Porsche there belongs to Greg Kimball, and he is definitely a fan of Porsche. I've known Greg pretty much my whole life. He used to race at Slot City with us, and he also, right here in the middle section of this building, actually owned a pizzeria, and it was some of the best pizza I ever ate in my life. Now he's back here racing with us, and he is definitely a comedian. We do love Greg Kimball here for sure. But if you're free and out and about, want to come check out the races, we'll be here for sure for the next couple hours. We'll be running the truck series. Come check us out here in Livermore, Kentucky. Also next door, some great Mexican food, La Cabana. Check that out too. 47 seconds left to go. See all the guys still working there. There goes Greg by the donut of the track, getting his car put back on. Indy Heat, big hit here in Lanes Raceway. Last night, I thought it was going to be a knockout drag-out between Brennan and Tom Payton, coming up in here trying to beat me and Gabriel Kirtley. Every 2 or 3 minutes, all I was hearing is, I beat your time, but they don't know the smoke's to come, but the smoke is coming for those boys, and me and Gabe's going to definitely be back up on that podium soon. These boys were so vindictive to me and my brother. I hate to say it, but they legit, this is no lie, legit had 6 profiles just so that they could keep us away from the podium by 6 positions. So yeah, for sure, I'll be back, and when I do, I'm gonna have to put a hurting on those boys when it comes to knocking them off the podium. So Matt Grinner says, how much for a GRC truck body in black? Well, here at Lanes Raceway, Matt, we charge $5 per paint color, and plus the truck body. So the truck body is right at, what is it, $8.95?
$10.
$10? $8 or $10, and then $5 for the paint. So you're looking at about $15. And we got already pre-painted bodies here, and they're about the same, anywhere from $15 to $18 for 2 paint colors. But we also do custom bodies, kind of like Glenn Burden's truck here. Maybe after this race is, he gets done with this heat here and he puts his car up in there, I'll ask him for permission. I'll show you what his truck looks like. But we do custom layout type stuff too, where that we do like liveries and stuff. Well, Matt, you got one of our livery cars. We made Matt a, you can probably check it out on Facebook. We ended up making him a Mustang after the number 4 Hunt's Brothers Pizza NASCAR. And basically it's clear vinyl. It takes a little bit. We got to cut it out by hand, and then we end up painting over top of that and just try to tie the whole feel of the NASCAR look together. We also do custom bodies here, so if you have a heartfelt model or body or something that is really close to you and you can't find a Lexan body in it, we offer the ability to make your dreams come true with that also. Matt says, I'd like one please, and I'd like to try the trucks. Well, Matt, if you're wanting to try the trucks, you could get here in probably a good enough time if you got time. I can have your body painted and ready for you before the circle track, and you could get on this live stream and race them. Speaking of the monster truck there, you see that in the bottom right corner. That's Glenn Burden's monster truck. We built him, and it's got Octane from Apex Legends on the front hood. I think his number is 9. He's got 3 9s on it, and it's got a carbon fiber rear truck bed, and we kind of made like a smoky toxic green color on it. I'll wait for the next one. All right, man. Well, we'll be glad to have you for sure. This is the class that you bought into for sure, so there'll be plenty of people that will want to race you. And you did quite well the other day. We were just talking earlier about how me and Glenn and Paul Woosley, about how you coming in here the other day and was like, sorry, man, I didn't mean to wreck you and stuff like that. And it's just super nice, especially whenever very few guys are like that. But yeah, don't feel afraid to bump and rub these guys, because they're definitely not going to be afraid to bump and rub up against you for sure. Matt, I do appreciate that. That chassis that you bought from us, we do put in quite a lot of time for sure on those chassis. And I probably spent right at, I think about 10 hours on that chassis of yours before we ended up being able to finish it, or me be able to call it finished. Because once I get them finally finished, I usually have Tom help me a little bit, and we end up running several laps together, and just to see if it's competitive. Once I get it good and competitive, then it's the final little bits that you got to do to it to make it the best, or run really comparable times. So we got it running pretty good with Tom's car, which Tom's car is on average a little bit above average, so that's a good starting point. Once we got it that way, then I just kind of fine-tuned until I could get a little bit more time. Of course, I'm asking all these guys their secrets too, and I finally come up with something, and we were able to make it happen. So we got that car of yours, I think, down to 1.7 on yellow, 1.713 or something like that. But it's pretty quick. If you look at the times that these guys are going through right now, you can see there on yellow, Guillermo Sauer currently turning the median of 4.42. We're on the orange track. Well, that don't help us much. So don't pay attention to those times. That looks like you're really smoking them. When I'm talking about 1.7, of course, we're talking about the oval track. And you'll be able to see that shortly whenever we go to move over in the truck series on the oval. But yeah, right about the 4 point something, 4.2, something like that is a pretty good fast time on yellow. And Guillermo Sara is definitely someone that you can look at for faster cars. Also, Randy Kirtley, Glenn Burden, Bruce Bullington, Paul Woosley. I mean, all of these guys pretty much run pretty close together. So it's kind of hard to pick one over the other because each one of them likes their lanes just a little bit different. But I will say sometimes these guys come in and their cars are just on point and you can't touch them. And then other weeks they come in and they have horrible luck and I can't keep them in the slot. I've seen 1 week where Bruce has come in and everything's worked out for him and he has beat people in droves. But then he's, went home and he's worked on something trying to make it a little bit faster. And sometimes when you work on stuff, it don't make it faster. The opposite's true. And he brought it in and was having a hard time keeping it on the track, So it all boils down to, of course, ingenuity is a big part of it. And also just sheer luck a lot of the times. But it looks like Glenn Burden's going to finish out his race here at 208 laps total. Followed by Randy Kirtley in second place there with 173. Of course, we'll get a full explanation of all these races when it's all said and done, but it looks like we're going to have a couple more heats here left to go. We'll go over to the oval cam so you can kind of see these guys working on their cars. I'll take a quick break here, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, I'm back, and I was able to talk to Glenn. He said I could use his truck to show you about what we can do here at Lanes Raceway. So the inspiration comes from the Monster Energy drink. Of course, that's what's on their can for the most part. Stickers come from both us here at Lanes Raceway, a design we made here, and from the Monster Energy sticker pack from Mid-America. So I think it came out quite well. And I believe he's got one of the more prettier style cars here. Of course, you see the carbon fiber hood or truck lid there. But we did all that here at Lanes Raceway. Of course, had the running octane there on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. It looks like the light's shining it out. There you go. That's a little bit better. You can kind of see him running there. But you know, that would be a more deluxe style body, kind of similar to what Jay's wanting with an Aflac number 99 car for his NASCAR, I believe it is. But we can do that. It takes me a little bit longer time. Of course, that time ends up costing you about $10. So you're looking body plus 30 is what it ends up costing to make such a premium body like that. Because you're also getting paint, stickers, and then of course just the time that it requires to do it. But if you're interested, we can sure make your dreams come true. I get asked all the time, can you do this? And I say it's not a matter of if I can do something, I will do it. It's just a matter of how long it'll take. But there ain't been nothing that I haven't been able to do with these little things for sure. And I'll always figure it out one way or the other if I have to ask somebody or something. So, but we're back racing here, and we can see Gabriel Kirtley back there on the button. Close racing there down on purple and black between Gerald and Greg Kimball. They're neck and neck as we see Gerald and Greg coming into contact there in the S corners side by side. Both these guys' cars running really, really smooth there. Gabriel Kirtley able to get them put back on in a timely fashion. Randy Kirtley up there on red lane right there next to him as we go back green racing. Let's see coming around up underneath the donut there and back through the S turns. Greg and Gerald both really close together, but it was Gerald coming around the bottom of the high bank super fast with hard G's rolling, was able to just have that backslide just enough to unsettle Greg, causing him to hit the high bank corner there as neither one of them wanted to lift. But this is racing sometimes, and we see that effect take place there over and over again as the high banks has been a detriment for several racers that don't want to lift. You got to think about how many G's these things are probably pulling going through that corner. It's almost like they're almost hitting the ground essentially, but it's just scraping all the way across there. It's a weird sound to hear too. I mean, I know you could hear that car there as it hit so hard. I believe it tucked the body. So that yellow car there, Greg of Gerald Suttle, not Greg, sorry. Gerald Suttle's car, he actually calls that car broken glass. Painted another one for him a couple weeks ago with orange in it and black, and he calls it Tony the Tiger. He actually had Tony the Tiger on the front windshield of his car, and it fits it perfect. It looks great. So it looks like where that incident took place between him and Greg, looks like Greg got a piece of his body or something, ended up causing a rip to take place in the rear portion of the truck body, thus causing him to tuck his body. So he's going to have to come up with some sort of way of strengthening the back of that body to make it work, or swap out a body. Now, all bodies are legal here at Lanes Raceway, truck related, as long as they are similar to the JK or RTR truck bodies. So we get a car again coming off there in the back stretch. Glenn Burden, I believe it is, or no, it's Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley quickly getting that car put back on for Bruce Bullington. Bruce Bullington there doing his best to stay there. As you can hear Bruce's car very, very smooth this week. You can hear him coming on the back stretch there, scraping along the bottom side of his chassis. It's moving that quick. So I know you guys probably heard it just then whenever he was going through on green. Here he comes again. And that is a weird sound here at the raceway. It sounds like it's just ripping the track apart, but really, it's just where these guys have got their cars set just as low as they can possibly be, but still past tech. Now that was round robin 9 of 10, and it shows that Glenn Burden is still in the lead here by 7 laps. Randy Kirtley still with 1 heat left to go, so Randy's going to end up ticking over and taking over first place, followed by Guillermo as he's got 1 more heat. Paul Woosley also, Greg Kimball, Clay Dame, he's officially done. It looks like he's sitting now currently in 6th place. Bruce Bullington there got 1 heat left. Jay Latham, Nathaniel, and Gerald Suttle. Thank you, Glenn. You need something, Robert?
Yeah, give me that with them orange, full top, orange and cream soda.
Orange and cream soda. Flavor of champions.
Well, I keep trying to figure out if I need something different, but no, this one just wins out every time.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, man.
All right, going to head back over to the oval cam so you can guys see these guys work for about a minute and a half. Robert Bishop, he's been out there track marshaling. He's not currently racing tonight, but he come to help. Clay, actually, he's here racing a little bit, enjoying himself that peach tea. I think he's now using it as a dip spittoon. But nonetheless, he loves the peach tea. Robert Bishop, he loves the orange dreamsicle we have here. And I like all kinds of flavored drinks, so I'll try to keep a bunch of them in stock. Big hit here is the peach flavored style drinks. A lot of people like the peach flavored style drinks. Take a quick look out at the parking lot again. It's starting to get dark out there, but it's still a very, very pretty night as we can see. Still several cars here. Of course, most guys here racing here in the front, and some of them in the back. That's Gabriel's truck there in the back, close to the road. Probably wouldn't park such a nice truck so close to the road here. I've seen some people come out of here full speed, somewhat dangerous every once in a while. You got to watch yourself out here in Livermore. That was my mama there in the purple shirt. My dad. Old Glenn Burden there behind Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley come in here today. He was asking about a Mazzetti chassis, whether or not it was any good. I said, well, you know, I mean, they make premium stuff just about like JK does. JK stuff's more of that stamp style, but nonetheless, pretty good stuff. I enjoy both chassis. I've drove both chassis, and I'll tell you what, you can make a smooth Mazzetti, especially with the really cool bushings that they have. Those bushings are quite premium in my opinion, but you really, really, really have to keep them oiled. If you don't keep them oiled, it can cause issues and they'll burn up. So we go back green racing here. We see right out of the gate there, coming out of the S-turns, now out of the horseshoe again, up underneath the bridge, Greg Kimball. Running really, really tight there on Black Lane as he's trying his best to reel in some more people. And his arch nemesis there, just a few lanes above him, Gerald Suttle there on yellow. It seems like both of those guys' cars running neck and neck with each other. Every time I'm looking up, these two are next to each other. But it looks like Gerald was able to get his broken glass truck back in good order and able to keep it from tucking up underneath them rear wheels. So Glenn Burton there, quickly getting those cars up underneath the bridge. My brother there yet again on the track call button to help Glenn and them out so that they don't get their fingernails peeled backwards as the cars come rushing up underneath the bridge. See Greg kind of letting off a little bit there, and the guy next to him up on purple, Jay Latham, it looks like he's trying to reel him in now. The most interesting things we see there, Jay Latham and Greg Kimball there getting caught up in the horseshoe. Also there with, it looks like just them two. Jay Latham, he brought himself a body in here today. He is very, got almost a forged look, him and Bruce both, when it comes to the style of their paint jobs or their paint schemes, using coppers, blacks, like bronzes, and just a real rustic, almost steampunk look every time I see their cars. Jay there, when we was running the NASCAR series, he had some cars painted up like Venom or Carnage. Like it just looked like a symbiote type virus just taking over the body of his truck. It's interesting to see each one of these guys' artistic expressions on their truck bodies change and develop as they start racing. Of course, Randy Kirtley always stuck close to the red and blue stripe pattern there, similar to, I guess, Richard Petty or a Superman style look to his bodies. And then, of course, we have the orange and pink of Paul Woosley. That's his signature colors. And then, of course, the blue and the pink hyper colors, signature colors for Greg Kimball. And it makes it really super easy for me to pick out these guys, so I'm not having to constantly look at 2 or 3 different screens just to see who's located on each lane. It's like I know these guys, and I'm hoping that you guys are starting to notice these liveries on these trucks too and able to pick these guys out and follow your favorite racer. Because whenever they get clustered up like they are right now, Randy Kirtley out there on the lead on green, you know, going around the donut, it looks like a little bit of a kick out there between Paul Woosley and Greg Kimball's cars. And I'm able to easily see who's in the lead and how they're doing. That's how I know at the end of the race when I go talk to these guys. Now, when I have a microphone, they don't cut up, they don't laugh as much, and they don't express themselves quite as much. They're not behind the microphone enough yet, but I think they'll get there eventually. But when I'm out there and we're just being candid, I talk to them about, man, you had some struggles tonight, or man, y'all stuff really was working good tonight, and they do respect that for sure, because they know that somebody's actually watching them, and they know for sure how well they're doing. But we can see a big change here in the guys, especially since we started moving to the trucks, how close these guys are running. I mean, look at that pack of these guys. They're all starting to learn the rhythm. As Randy Kirtley, I believe, just had an issue there of not blipping, or he got caught up in an incident with another individual. If he got involved in an individual, it would either be Paul Woosley or Guillermo Sauer, but I can't see currently whose car is in hand, as it was flipped upside down. That's Randy Kirtley with, and it looks like the car in red, Nathaniel Burden. So I don't know how those two were able to get involved or get into an altercation there. But maybe it's possible, one of them being a little bit sloppy, but I believe what it boils down to is just simply a lack of blipping there on Black Lane by Greg Kimball. Of course, the racers are probably going to give each other a pretty good hard time about the blip area. They always do anytime somebody forgets to blip. Randy Kirtley there in the lead right now, completed this race with 230 laps, but really close behind him, Guillermo Sauer with 225. Paul Woosley going to round up your podium there with 214. I'm going to take a quick picture of these real quick, and then we are going to be moving right directly into the oval race. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to see how these guys are going to fare on the oval track, because I know for a fact they have all been tuning and waiting for that all race long. We're going to move over to the oval cam. In the meantime, I'm going to mute the microphone. Enjoy watching these guys get ready for the oval track as we get it set up, and I'll be right back with you here in about 10 or 15 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you heard that or not, but it looks like everybody's going to be taking about a 25-minute or so break. So we'll just leave it up here. There's going to be some people probably testing and tuning. You're going to just watch them testing and tuning. Tune back in here in about 20 or so minutes, and we should be getting about underway about that time.